What's happening, everyone? Welcome back to the channel, Endless Road. I'm Jazz and we're working on, well, the woodwork stuff again today. And now that we got the front seats in and the bench as well, we can start to work out the dimensions of our table that is going to be so, you know, 4 people can have food and or work on it with a laptop or whatever. So what I've done is bought I haven't bought the full table kit. All I've done is buy the leg and the rail. You can buy the full table kit, but I didn't want the actual tabletop because, well, mine's a totally different layout to everyone else's, and I might have to trim it down or something, and then you're going to destroy the fancy edge to it. Plus they come with like a pattern or a colour on the top of it, and that probably then won't match anything that I've got in here. So what I'm going to do is cut my own tabletop, which will then match everything that's in here. And yeah, you can buy the leg and the rail separately to attach to your own tabletop. So that's what I'm going to do. Obviously that rail needs to secure to something, and it's going to go by here, so then it latches onto that and sticks out from there. So first thing I've done is, like I did in 2 videos ago, made the kickboards. I've made upper ones. So I didn't bother filming that because you've seen me make them ones and it's not interesting at all. I tell you what, absolute nightmare using those L-shaped brackets, which aren't at a 90-degree angle, they're just slightly off. You try and screw them in and trying to get the edge of them flush with these vertical ones. Oh, I was there ages trying to fine tune it so everyone's sticking out or sticking inwards. Done my head in. Anyway, they're in now, and obviously that gives us a mount to screw the brackets for that into, which are these. Comes with a pair of them, and they just slot into the end of the rail. Like so. And then they got 2 screw holes in them, and yeah, you can just screw that to there then. You can trim this down as well. It's only aluminium, so I'll probably trim that down a bit so it doesn't overlap that, because otherwise that just looks a bit odd. You don't want the rail going into the seating area. So that needs to be cut down. You get 2 covers then that go over them brackets. So that goes over there like that to hide the screw holes. So they'll be last on. And then what you get is 2 of these. So they screw up, they go underneath your tabletop and screw up into it. And see this bit that overhangs, that then hooks onto your rail and just wedges on basically, like that. So you get 2 of them, and then obviously your table leg, 4 holes in that. That screws up the underneath the table, and then you position it where you want, the height of it, so it's level, and then you've got a little spinny wheel there, which then secures the height, because it's, if I let go, it's height adjustable, and you just set the height that you want and tighten that wheel and it clamps up. So probably the easiest part of the build, really.
Instantly I regret saying that.
The only thing that is going to require a bit of working out is the size and the shape of the tabletop. So you don't want to be sitting up on the bench and like having to lean forward to get to your grub, and likewise for these seats as well. So I think I'll either use a bit of scrap wood to start off with, or a bit of cardboard, something like that. The other thing I got to contend with is obviously the slide out fridge. So the table leg's probably going to have to be quite far out. And then one more thing to think about is, because it's going to be sticking out quite far, the shape of the end of it.
Hey baby.
You're going to need it like rounded off or cut off corners so that you can exit the vehicle. So I got one of the brackets in the end, and I just hold it tight against the top there a minute, and I want to have it about 1 centimetre in from the end, because there's a bracket behind it and I don't want to be screwing that into the head of another screw. We'll have the same again roughly this side. Okay, so I've marked it out where I need to cut the rail. Because it's alley, we can do it on the bandsaw, which is good. Right, ignore what I said about when I cut these panels to go in here, because they didn't work. They did, but not for putting a table rail on. Having the 12mm on brackets, it just wasn't strong enough. It was twisting it every time you put the table on, so I wasn't happy with that at all. So what I've done is cut a piece of 18mm, the length of it all, and then I notched out the thickness of the 18mm, which is actually 17 for some. I can't get my head around that. So notched that out so it sat flush in there. I've got 2 screws in there. Now if I wasn't fitting a table rail, I wouldn't be happy with that, but because the rail will cover them, that's okay. And I put 2 screws in at the end. I'm not bothered about that because I've done the same down the bottom there, and you won't see that anyway because the chair will be there. And then what I've done on this side is 2 pocket holes to go into there. Little bit dodgy because it's screwing into some 12mm, even though it's right next to the beam. And then what I've done as well is put I got a slightly larger L-shaped bracket to put behind it as well, just to reinforce it some more. So now it's solid. So now I can put the table rail on and then mock up and cut a tabletop. So I've marked it out so that it's reasonably centre of this new panel that I've cut. And if we get it straight on the bottom, I think I'll just clamp it a minute. And you need the minimum that panel can be is, I think, 4.5 centimeters. If you have it any lower than that, any smaller, you won't get the hooks in for the table. So I've cut it about, I think, 5.5, so that's plenty. Right, so I'm happy with that there. We can screw it now. I've done by here is I've got my hop up, and I've put my box of screws and stuff on top of it just to give me an extra bit of height. And I've got a bit of die bond signboard there, just to give me like a mock-up table, and I think it's pretty much smack on width-wise. Well, I'll test it out in the passenger seat now, but what I'm thinking is that it can't really come out any further that way than the edge of that seat, because then they'd just be trapped in there.
Let me out!
Yeah, I think that's acceptable, because this seat is sat in the, well, it's probably right smack in the middle position at the moment, so if they need to bring it forward, they can. They'll probably be right there, so their knees will be underneath it slightly. Yeah, I think that's a winner, that is. So we just measure the distance from there to the rail now, and we've got the width already. So I've marked those measurements out onto my board, which is going to be the table. I'm using 12mm, and originally I was going to use 18s because they'd be more sturdy, but I think 12mm will be enough because I've got it on the worktop as well, and plus 12 is lighter than 18, and obviously when the table's not in action I gotta stow it away somewhere, so having it 12 is, you know, it's thinner, so it's easy to store. And I worked it out at 98 centimeters long. The measurement is 100, but you've got to take off 2 for the space that the brackets take up. So it's 98 by 59, I think. Yeah, by 59. So let's get that cut. So there's my tabletop. I'm going to put the brackets on now, so I can actually try it in the van. And so they screw on like that. And it all depends on you where you want them. If you have them right at the ends, then that's going to be the most stable. But the closer you have them coming into the center, gives you more room to slide them back and forth, so that can give you some extra space for either someone sitting in the front passenger seat or on the bench seat to get out. I'm probably gonna come in about the width of the bracket from the end. So that's gonna give us roughly 25 centimeters of sliding back and forth room. So I think that's plenty myself. So let's mark that out and I can screw them on. So I'm not going to bother drilling pilot holes or anything. The screw should just bite into it. The supplied screws are pretty close coming out the other side, so just be careful on your thickness of your tabletop. But what I'm going to probably do is, obviously once it comes to the painting stage, then these brackets are going to have to come off. And I think I'd rather have a nut and a bolt going through instead. So I'll have the nuts on the bottom, and I'll have the bolt on the top will have a countersunk head on it. I just think that'd be stronger. Obviously you're going to be able to see the heads of the bolts, but that's fine by me. Right, so they're on. If I find out that the 12mm is too flimsy for a table, then obviously I will have to use 18. But you don't know until you test it out, and I haven't got any 18mm here anymore. I've used it all. I've got offcuts, but they're not big enough for this, so I wasn't going to go out and buy another whole sheet of 18mm just for a table. The table's in, and as you can see I've put the leg on it. It's just 4 screws underneath, but what I had to contend with is obviously the fridge coming out. I didn't want the leg in the way of the fridge, because if you're inside and it's pissing down inside and you want the table out and you've run out of tinnies there in the fridge, then obviously the table's going to be in the way of the fridge then. So needed full access to the fridge, so I've had to position the leg as far out as possible, and the way you adjust the leg is just a little knob on the back of here that you tighten up. But I wanted the knob on this side because it's the thing that sticks out the most on the leg. So I didn't want it fouling on the fridge. I don't know whether it's just me. I would assume that having the knob on this side is more common sense to me, because you can't see it by there. You can feel it, yeah, but having it in eye's view on this side makes the most sense to me. But they've only made it fold up one direction, so I only found that out after I flipping screwed it up with the knob on this side, because then it was folding this way. Well, you can't have it like that, because you can't stow it away then, because then the table is twice as long as it should be. So, and I had a look at seeing if I could dismantle it or modify it, but yeah, I didn't fancy buggering it up and having to buy another one then. So it can only fold that way when it's stowed away, so the knob has got to be on that side. So yeah, that was a shame. My other issue, so anyone with a table set up this way, tell me in the comments if yours is like this. It's quite unstable. It's flexing on that joint there. It doesn't matter where the leg is on this, it's still going to be like that, isn't it? Because it's only one leg. So what do people do to improve on that, other than fitting 2 legs on it? Or do you just be careful? I like to lean on a table though when I have my tea, so I can see me breaking that. Especially if you've had a few cans and you're a bit leery like. Anyway, that's how you install it all. Put the rail on there, 2 screws on either end. Like I said, it's up to you where you want to put the brackets. Out towards the end is more stable, but towards the middle you get more adjustability. And yeah, the leg just screws up 4 screws. Also, I forgot to mention, you get this little bracket as well, and all that does is go in the center of the rail to stop it flexing. And you can either work out by measuring where it's got to go first and screw it in, or you can screw the rail on and then like draw a line above and below it and then take it back off, so that then you know where to put it. And then you slide the rail over it then, and all it does is just an extra bit of well, steadiness for the center of the rail. Really, it's not essential. I found by fitting it with and without, it didn't do loads, but it's there in the kit anyway. The only last thing to do is, if I can't strengthen that up in a way, is to round these corners off, because although if I'm in this seat now, I can get out of there, but the person sitting there can't really. So you have to go like that and move it across. Then they can get across, get past it. But I mean, if you catch your ass on that, it's gonna hurt.
Bit me directly in the buttocks.
Right, I've improved it slightly. Well, if I put my foot so that the leg can't move, because the leg is moving at the bottom now. We've only got that much now. It's dramatically reduced it, but it is still flexing. And the way I've done that, I measured it all and I've just cut a U shape out of 12mm. So if we can put something in between here, this is where all the movement is, because there's a pin through that. So if we can stop this gap either side from closing up by sticking something in there. So I thought, if we put that in there, then that is the solution, but it's not quite thick enough, 12mm. So what I've done then is cut a piece of scrap carbon fibre I had, which then should take up the gap, but it's a tiny bit too thick, so I had to hammer it in there.
That's what she said.
I've done one more modification, and that is an anchor in the floor there. So I've cut out a bit of 12mm and traced around the bottom of the leg and cut that out. It's not an actual circle because one side is squared off, so yeah, that was a bit of a pain in the ass. And I've got that screwed into the floor now, so the leg can't go anywhere, just to see if that would stiffen it up a bit. And obviously it worked wonders on the leg there, but has it stiffened the top up anymore? Yeah, but I'll tell you, I'm not happy with this. Some of you have got these tables with one leg on them are probably laughing now and saying, oh, they're meant to be like that, or you've done something totally wrong. And you just meant to not lean on it, just have your food on there like that maybe, but I'm not happy. So I think what I'm going to have to do is either I'm going to have to buy another leg and rail and just do away with the rail and have two legs, one on each corner, which is fine. They're not heavy and they could both fold up then, but then that's another 50-60 quid, whatever they were. Or I can go about making my own leg, but I think that'll look a bit shit, and I ain't got the time to figure out having a leg that locks into place when it's stowed away, I don't think. So yeah, I think we're gonna have to get another leg, and then I won't have to have this thing either. Right, I've ordered another one, another leg. It is turned up. I've fitted it so they're both on opposite corners, and I've cut the rounded the ends off. So that's how I've got it now. So obviously you have to click two legs now to fold them out. I tell you what, if this doesn't cure the problem now, I'm going to chuck this table down the yard. Here you go. Just the height. Ha ha ha! Yes! Much better. Don't get me wrong, it's never going to be as sturdy as like, you know, a big oak dining room table, but if I had made it out of 18mm, it would have been slightly sturdier as well, but I didn't want it 18mm, so I can handle that. So it's got a little bit of spring in it, but it ain't going anywhere now like it was before, is it? Oh, thank God for that. I asked on the groups on Facebook and stuff, the forums on these style tables, whether everyone else is wobbly as well, and the response I got, well, was next to nothing. No one really answered my question, so yeah, I don't know what everyone else's table is like. And I looked at videos on YouTube of where people are buying ones and fitting them or making their own. No one seemed to be leaning on the tables in their videos, so I couldn't even tell how good they were. They were just like, "Hey, it's awesome, happy days! I can put my food on there now, and it'll be happy days." But none of them went, "Ah." So, don't know. But yeah, if yours is wobbly, then do that. What I think I'll do as well now, so that locator that I put into the floor to locate the leg, obviously that's gonna have to be moved now because it was designed for one leg. I'll take that out, I'll keep it, and then if I feel that I need to secure the legs into the floor in the future, what I'll do is position it where I need to, draw it out onto the floor, and then I'll probably router out I don't know, about 5mm down into the actual floor, rather than having something that you can trip over. So I think that would be a better option, because I know me, I'll clip that with my toes and go flying. Although I don't even think it needs it. It ain't going nowhere. And obviously, because I bought another leg, I got another rail with it. So let me show you what I did with that. Yeah, boy! We can use it outside and have some more, you know, once the food's ready, pop it on there. Or if there's only two of you in the van, chair by there, chair by there, eat outside. So exactly the same, just drilled and screwed the rail onto the kitchen drawer there. I didn't bother cutting it down at all. There was no need, and yeah, it just hooks on the same. You just have to extend the legs out at maximum length, and now we've got a table suit for two purposes. So yeah, I'm happy with that. It all came well in the end, ish. When it comes to the stage that we're painting everything and retrimming and all that stuff, probably get either my mate to router this off, or if I've got a router by then I'll router it off, just so it's not sharp on the edge. And obviously we need to sand it as well to get rid of any splinters, and then this will be painted as well. So the next thing we gotta do is find a place to store this while we're traveling. It can either go behind the driver's seat, or it can go by here in front of the drawers. I gotta get the other drawer in there first to figure all this out, so that'll be in a future video. I won't do just a specific video on stowing the table away. I'll just feature it at the end of some other video. So that is my sort of custom made camping table. I did buy the leg and the rails. I'll put the links for them in the description, although if I was to give them a rating, they wouldn't be amazing. But once you have two of them, which which then adds up to about just over £100, sort of the price of some like single legs anyway. And in my opinion, although like I said, I haven't seen or I haven't witnessed any other people's single leg tables, I can't see any of them being sturdy. And normally tables inside a camper van, from what I've seen, they're probably only about that wide. So with the added width on mine, obviously is even more unsturdy. So yeah, I'll put the links for them in the description, but you gotta buy two if you want it like mine, obviously. And then you get another rail, which then you can, I don't know, you could utilize it somewhere. Even if you haven't got an outdoor kitchen, you could probably utilize it somewhere. So I hope that helps someone out. Whether it does or not, I don't know. If you've got any questions, pop them in the comments and I'll answer them at the end of the next video. Click on the like button, click on the subscribe button, and I will catch you next time.